Mr. Anthony Blinken, Secretary of State, Chiefs of State and of Government, Mr. Luis Almagro, Secretary General of the Organization of American States, Congressman Arthur Lira, the Speaker of the House in Brazil, and ministers with me. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your invitation from the United States to participating in this meeting of democratic leaders in the Americas. The Summit of the Americas is the opportunity to deal with the challenges of the post-pandemic of sustainable development with the energy transition, digital transformation, integration, as well as democracy and human rights. We are very attentive to the economic problems affecting the world, like inflation, unemployment, and especially the most precious good for the human being, his or her freedom, including the freedom of expression, of work, and faith. Brazil has engaged strongly in the negotiating process within the declarations to be approved in this summit. We are going to work together so these proposals lead to new cooperation engines for the economic growth of the Americas. Brazil feeds 1 billion people. We ensure food security for 1/6 of the world population. Without our agribusiness, half of the world would be hungry. Brazil not only avoided a food crisis with the access to fertilizers, but also they had a role of developing, looking for solutions on the world for food security. We are one of the countries that most preserve the environment and its forests. We have the most diversified and developed energetic matrix in the world, even losing part of our native forests, but only using 27% of our territory for cattle raising and agriculture. We are a sustainable agricultural nation. We do not need the Amazon region to expand our agribusiness. Only in the Amazon biome, 84% of the forest is intact, holding the greatest biodiversity in the planet. Our challenges are proportional to our size. I remind you that the area of the Amazon is equivalent to the area of the entire Western Europe. No other country has a environmental legislation so complete. Our forest code should be an example to other countries. In fact, we are responsible for less than 20% of the carbon emissions, even being the 9th economy in the world. In order to protect our forests, the federal government has reinforced the combating deforestation and has established activities to preserve the biome in the Amazon. With the launch of the Methane Zero program, we have implemented commitments established during COP6 to structure treatment of organic residues, milk products, and landfills in order to reduce 30% of the emissions of methane in Brazil. We are pioneers in energetic transition. We started decarbonization more than half a century ago with biofuels and other sources. In 2021, we hit the record of installation of wind energy, 21 gigawatts, and sun power with 14. 85% of the energy generated in Brazil comes from renewable sources. We have the potential to additional production of energy of 60 gigawatts, equivalent to 4 times our installed capacity, or 50 Itaipu power plants. The wind power generation in the Northeast can generate ammonia for exports. In this moment that many developed countries use fuels, we promote totally clean energy and totally devoid of emissions. We see in Brazil now, in part of the world, we clear attack to the freedom of human beings to opine in different ways. I leave here a message for the Americas as a prosperous and democratic region. We have participated in many hemispheric forums working for democracy, for freedom, for prosperity, economic and social. In this year in which Brazil celebrates 200 years of independence, we are a country that believes in God, respects its military, is favorite to life since its conception, defends the family, and gives loyalty to its own people. Brazil, we understand that freedom is a higher good than life itself, because men and women without freedom have no life. Before concluding, I would give you some information that is of interest to all of us that we can share with the world. From last Sunday, when we had the information that two citizens, one British, Dom Phillips, and a Brazilian, Bruno Araújo, disappeared in the Jair Vale in the Amazon region. From that moment on, our military, the armed forces, have started a search to find those people. We ask God that they may be found alive. Two, I'd like to say to everybody that Brazil, that continues to concede humanitarian visas to Afghans, Ukrainians, Syrians, and Venezuelans. We do have a potential in the Americas of the activities in our Itaipu Lake or reservoir, where we will be also dedicating it to grow fish, and we will be able to present to the market 40% of the supply. This Secretary of Fisheries, Georgia State, has done this, and I would like to also tell the President of Argentina, our dear Fernandez, continues in our discussions that this agreement in gas will continue for both of our countries and will continue to import gas from Bolivia. I would also like to say to all from the presidents from Guyana and Suriname, a recent visit to our countries is intended to collaborate with the oil and gas situation in your countries. You have reserves in oil and gas equivalent to 90% of the Brazilian reserves. I am sure that together with other partners, your countries will finally be highlighted in the world scenery. Today, I was President Biden with the extended bilateral and also in a reserved one. We were for 30 minutes seated without a mask and less than a meter away. And I felt from Mr. Biden need to solve problems that, including some that are not on our responsibility, but we're able to discuss alternatives to end the conflicts in the world, and all of us working in this manner will reach our objectives, especially with the U.S. government. The experience that I had yesterday with President Biden was tremendous. I am very relieved. I believe his words, and I believe in what we reservedly dealt with. To all of you, thank you very much, and may God bless our countries.